is the best daily sports betting show on the planet. We got a great lineup. We got Carmine Bianco right off the bat. Carm's going to give us 2 NHL bets. Don't miss either of them. Vegas against Edmonton and the Kings against the Jets. Both big games. We got Steve Merrill right after that. He's going to look at a college basketball game, Colorado versus Villanova. That's in the Crown Tournament. He's also going to take apart 2 NBA games. He's going to tell you how to make money on both the TNT games tonight. Phoenix and Milwaukee, Minnesota playing Denver. We got Paul Motty joining us to talk IPL. That's the Indian Premier League in cricket. A lot of money to be made in that sport. Andy Lang after that with some prop bets, including an F1 winner. And we're going to end the show with the great Gianni The Greek. Before we get into that, it is $5 Tuesday over at WagerTalk. Every handicapper has a featured play for only $5. We'll ask Carmine what his is in 2 minutes. Carmine Bianco, welcome to the show. Thanks for doing this.
Thanks for having me on. $5 play will be up shortly. It's been a busy day for me, as you know. Did your earlier show, this show here, and of course, puck time in between. So it's been a busy day of talking hockey, but I will have a $5 play up shortly.
Yeah, and what Carmine's talking about is we did the Blue Line today, second day of that show. Myself and Matthew Barnaby. We had Mike Commodore on today, 18 years in the NHL and a Stanley Cup champion. He gave out a couple of NHL bets, and Carmine came on with some prop bets. So check that out over at WagerTalk TV. Carm, let's get into some actionable betting information. We got 10 games going tonight and a couple of real strong matchups. Let's start right off the bat with Vegas and Edmonton. Look, Edmonton playing without Connor McDavid, but they've done okay. They're playing this Vegas team who are lights out at home. Vegas is a medium favorite, around minus 150, 160. Total here, 5.5, 6. Where are we going in this matchup?
Yeah, this is one that I've been taking over the last little while with the Edmonton Oilers, and I've tweeted out, talked about it on Puck Time, and it is one where Vegas is a good price at home, minus 160, a chance to clinch a playoff spot tonight. But the Vegas puck line has been such a profitable angle for them on home ice. They have the best record as far as puck lines on the season at home, even better. I think it's 25 and 12 or 25 and 13. But their last 16 home wins, they have covered the puck line each and every time. They're 16-0, their last 16 home wins to the puck line. And that puck line's plus 155 tonight. You got an Edmonton team that Skinner is out, injured. Picard should be in goal tonight for them. Draisaitl's back. He played against Calgary, scored one to tie it up and then win it in OT. But McDavid's out, and he's not coming back anytime soon. I think the idea is to get him absolutely healthy. He'll probably play the last 3 or 4 games of the season and then gear up for the playoffs. I think Edmonton right now is in maintenance mode. Let's get our team healthy. Let's make a playoff run. They know they're going to play the LA Kings. It's just a matter of whether it'll be in LA or in Edmonton to start the series. But they've beaten them the last 3 times in the playoffs, so they know who their opponents are. I love this plus 155 on Vegas.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, a great handicap, Carm, because you're right. Edmonton, really very little to play for, and I agree. Nice term, maintenance mode. LA Kings can't be happy. They got to face this Oiler team, and it's a horrible matchup for them, but we don't need to worry about that right now. Tonight, they play Winnipeg, and this LA Kings team has only lost 4 home games all year. They are a slight favorite, rightfully so, minus 120 with money coming in on Winnipeg. I mean, this Winnipeg team, best team in the league right now, 51-19-4 record, really good at home, really good on the road. I like the under in this game, Carmine, and I would lean towards the Kings. I'm curious where you're going.
Yeah, this is one. If there's a team that is scoreboard watching, and that is not scoreboard watching to make the playoffs, but scoreboard watching with an interest in this game, it'll be the Dallas Stars. Dallas Stars are 4 points back, same amount of games as Winnipeg for that number one seed,
Yeah.
and they've got to play Winnipeg, so they would love nothing better than a Kings win in regulation tonight, which gets them one step closer to possibly earning that number one seed. It's the Kings at home. They've been absolutely phenomenal at home all season long, but it is their defense at home. You look at the Kings, and 8 of their last 9 home games, they've held opponents to 2 or fewer goals. The only game in which they didn't hold a team to under 2 goals was the Leafs winning 3-1 on the weekend. That third goal coming an empty netter. The Winnipeg team total here is at 2.5. It is minus 125 to the over, minus 115 to the under, obviously a 40-cent line. I like the under here. The Kings are 2-0 versus the Jets this season, beating them 4-1 and 2-1. And as I mentioned, 8 of their last 9 home games, they've kept opponents to 2 or fewer goals. If you like the under, you got to like the Winnipeg, and you like the Winnipeg. And you like the LA Kings. You got to like the Winnipeg team total under 2.5 here.
Yeah, and I do. Carmine, outstanding. What do you got to promote? It's $5 Tuesday.
The $5 play will be up in the next 20 minutes. I have a 5% play going up in the NHL tonight for a nice 4% winner yesterday with the Philadelphia Flyers. And a couple afternoon Premier League games. Domestic league action returns after the international break. And I got a couple plays, including a 4% total going today. So head over to WagerTalk and my page. And then finally, the NHL playoffs, $195. If you purchase that now, you'll get the rest of the NHL regular season as well, too. So 2 weeks for free. $195 gets you every single NHL play right through to the Stanley Cup Finals.
Carmine Bianco, outstanding stuff. Awesome freaking sports bettor. You can hear him on Puck Time. I'm going to be hosting that show with Carmine Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday this week. I got a busy week ahead of me. Just a real quick, welcome everybody to the chat room. Love seeing you guys there. If you don't mind taking a second and hitting that like button, really appreciate that. Also, make sure to put comments up in our comment section. Justin, one of our listeners, Justin P. asked, Prez, why are you not taping the Blue Line, which is our new NHL betting show, me and Matthew Barnaby? Why aren't you taping it live? And I'll tell you why. Because we have guests on that show. And these guests are big-time guests. Mike Commodore was on today, played 18 years in the NHL. We got Jeremy Roenick lined up for either tomorrow or the next day. We got Brad May coming on. And to be honest with you, they don't necessarily show up on the exact time that has been allotted to them. And we're not going to complain. We're just going to be thankful that they're taking time to do this show to begin with. So we're not going to be doing that show live. We're going to be taping it every day around 9:30, 10 a.m. It'll be up around 11 a.m. Eastern. So that is the reason. Steve Merrill joining us. Steve, frickin' love you, bro. How you been?
Well, and just found out I'm making an announcement here on WagerTalk Today. This will unfortunately be my last WagerTalk Today appearance. I've decided to focus more on coaching. So obviously the sports betting stuff, can't do it. Probably transition off of WagerTalk here in the near future. I was going to announce it sooner, but just literally found out on April 1st. And since this is April 1st, I figured I'd come here and let everybody know here on April 1st.
And he worked on that April Fool's Day for about 3 hours, everybody. Happy April Fool's Day, everyone.
I saw the look on your face, and you were off camera, unfortunately.
You got me.
Damn it.
You got me. I never think about April Fools. We're never losing you, Steve Merrill. I'm telling you that right now. We are never losing you. Yes, and we love having you with us. That is for sure. You honestly, dude, I gotta
I think Dan clipped off the camera. Unfortunately, it ruined the whole thing because it made it for me though. I could see Prez in the VMix screen here, but yeah, that was good.
Full
Dude,
disclosure, I was like, that's why I put Prez off, because I was like, oh shit, Steve's like,
yes, I got Dan the
right
man.
now. And then I looked down at the bottom right
Dan,
hand.
you know you've done a good job.
So you got everyone, Steve. You got everyone.
Yeah.
Damn good. All right, I'll talk to you guys next week. Thanks for having me on, Prez. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Well, now I'm pulling
excellent.
Costanza, leave on a high note. Pull Costanza, leave on a high note, like from the Yankee meeting, right?
There you go. Anyway, my brother, let's get into some actual betting information. Right off the bat, let's start off with college basketball. We got the Crown Tournament going tonight. I had Washington State last night. Ended up not getting the best line for my clients. It was a push at +3. We go again tonight. We got another 4-pack, Villanova, 19-14 on the season, playing Colorado, 14-20 on the year, -3.5 a Nova, a total of 146.5. How does Steve Merrill suggest we bet this game?
Well, Prez, this is really fascinating for several reasons, because it's a tricky handicap because these teams have all been off for several weeks, as you know. This is the college basketball Crown Tournament. It's the first time they've done this. I believe the top 2 non-NCAA tournament teams from all the big conferences were committed to this. That's why the NIT has some real no-name teams in the semifinals tonight. It's because the big boys are in the college basketball Crown Tournament. But I was curious to see how that layoff would affect teams. And you can think, well, they're out of rhythm, but they practice and scrimmage. And I kind of thought, the teams probably would be pretty fresh offensively. I stayed off the games last night, but I was really curious to see how they played out. And boy, it was not a question if the offenses were fresh or not. In fact, just look at these scores last night. We had 8 teams playing, and 6 of the 8 scored over 80 points. All 4 games soared over the total. And look at the totals now, Prez. Like at the WagerTalk Live odds screen, you can look at the opening numbers compared to where they are now. The DePaul Cincinnati game, 7 points higher now. Oregon State, Central Florida, 4 points higher. Tulane, USC, 9 points higher. The totals I'm talking about. And this Colorado Villanova game is 9.5 points higher than the opener. All 4 games yesterday, several baskets higher than the opener. So people knew this. I'll give props to those that could see this coming. I wanted to take a wait-and-see approach, but, yeah, I would not look for a reason to play the under in these games. These rested teams have been scoring at will, so I do lean over in this game once again. Obviously, some line value is lost. The other real interesting factor here with Villanova, their opponent, Villanova, is that Neptune was fired, the head coach. 3 straight years not making the NCAA tournament after Jay White retired. Kevin Willard, the pay-me-now coach from Maryland, has already been named the new head coach. That didn't take long once they were bumped. Mike Nardi is going to be the assistant coach, will be the head coach tonight. Your guess is as good as mine on what the morale is for Villanova, right? I mean, do they step up for their assistant coach? Difficult spot here. I'm not even looking at the numbers like I normally would for the matchup. I'd lean Colorado +4, both based on the motivation, and I would still lean over 146.5 until we see otherwise in these games.
Steve Merrill joining us, everyone. One of the best handicappers alive. Steve, it's $5 Tuesday. What do you have going for the clients?
Yeah, so I talked about those NIT semifinals. I do have a strong NIT best bet tonight for $5, and that's an instant 80% discount off the normal rate because it is $5 Tuesday, which means you're getting it for $5 tonight. And while that's a great deal, Prez, $5 Tuesday is pretty cool. How about getting every best bet I have for the next full year, every sport, for $1 a play? You can do that when you use promo code SM365. It's a 1-year all access with an instant $811 discount. That gets it down to just over $3 a day, about $1 a play, because I average about 2 to 3 plays per day. Promo code SM365. So even the 1 play tonight for $5 or a full year of all sports with that special promo code, and everything is listed on my page, along with a daily free play, Steve Merrill, WagerTalk.com. And, of course, you can get there quicker with the shortcut you see on your screen, WT.buzz/SM.
Steve Merrill. We got 2 TNT games tonight in the NBA. We're going to go through both of them. Before that, Joseph Alvarado, one of our listeners, writes, "Happy Passover." Joseph, that means a lot to me, but Passover is on April 12th this year. So we'll save that for 12 more days. Thank you, my brother. Steve Merrill, Phoenix. Look, they've lost 3 in a row. Before that, they won 4 in a row. They got annihilated by Houston with a terrible defensive performance. They allowed Houston to put up 148 points on them. Before that, Minnesota 124 and Boston 132. They're playing Milwaukee tonight, -5.5 with the Bucks, and the Bucks have lost 4 straight and also just allowed 145 points. This total is 224.5. I don't know what I'm missing here, bro. Am I overthinking this? I like the over in this game.
Well, I mean, the first thing to say, Prez, is these are 2 quality teams. They're going to bounce back with defensive intensity, right? And maybe that could be the case sometimes, but I don't think it is here. I agree with you. And here's something else that jumps out to me. You talked about the Rockets putting up, what was it, 148? Look what the Rockets did last night against the Lakers, who, as you know, I think have a suspect defense. The Rockets scored 98 points. So that's a real bad sign for Phoenix. Bad sign for Milwaukee as well. These teams are beat up. Giannis is probable tonight. Damian Lillard remains out, but they're still scoring without him. Bradley Beal, questionable for Phoenix. Durant is out. Right. I think the intensity is not there. And with key players missing, I don't think this is like a circle the wagon game for either team. But look, we're not the only ones feeling that way, right? This total opened 220.5. It's up to 224, even some 225s out there. But guess what? The 225s are some of the sharper books. Bet online, bookmaker. So that's what you want to see. Over a pass for me in this one.
Steve Merrill, let's turn our attention to the next NBA game that is on TNT. After the Milwaukee game ends, we're going to see Minnesota playing the Denver Nuggets. These are 2 really good basketball teams. Denver has won 2 straight. Minnesota has won 2 straight. One thing about the Ant-Man is he's always up when playing the best teams in the league. We got a -2.5 with Denver, -140 on the money line, and a total of 232.5. How is Steve Merrill betting this game?
Yeah, I mean, this should be a focus spot for both teams, like you said. Both lineups look pretty healthy here. I think we do get a true handicap. And it does jump out to me that Denver, obviously has some reasons to want to get some revenge against Minnesota over the last couple of years, including the most recent meeting in which they lost by 20 as a 3-point home favorite back on March 12th, just less than a month ago. We don't talk a lot about revenge in the NBA. We use it a little bit more in college hoops, but when you get Class A teams like this after an embarrassing loss as a home favorite, back at home, national TV, I do think this is a focus spot. Unlike that other game, I think this is a focus spot for both teams. And the markets seem to agree. In fact, as I'm looking now, the line is lighting up. It opened 2. It's up to 3. We're even seeing 3 minus money. We're seeing some 3.5s. Bookmaker now is a 3.5. I think Denver's the sharp side. And for those live viewers out there here on WagerTalk Today at 12:18 Eastern on April 1st, no April fooling. I like Denver here, and it's -3 now. You probably want to play it sooner than later.
Steve Merrill, man, thanks for doing this, brother. So last week, Steve, I got all mad about the NBA. I know about basketball and the fouling and the rules, and I got mad about the traveling. So to make it up to you, I'm going to tell you a joke.
Uh-oh.
No, it's actually, I went to see a comedian last night. His name is Motty, M-I-D-I. It's short for Mordecai. He's a devoutly religious Jewish guy from New York, probably in his 50s or so. He's a world famous comedian, and he was amazing. The show was incredible. And he told a joke that I then called my parents and told them. And I'm going to tell you this joke live on air. This joke was told by Modi. It is not my joke. So he tells a story about how he went to visit his parents in Boca Raton at the old age home. And he did a stand-up. He did stand-up there, and he said the average age was deceased. And one of the guys came up to him and told him a story, and the story went like this. He said, I'm 90 years old. My wife is 87. We were having lunch together, and a beautiful blonde 30-year-old girl came over, kissed me on the cheek, and said, "Henry, it was great seeing you. We'll see you tomorrow." And my wife says, "Henry, who was that?" And I say, "Oh, honey, that's my mistress." And my wife said, "What? Henry, you have a mistress? I am leaving you. We are getting a divorce." And Henry is like, "Honey, You're 87. Imagine a life divorced. You will not be able to stay at the polo club. You will not have my money. You will not have my car. You will not have this. You will not. And as he's talking, George walks in with a beautiful 30-year-old blonde on his arm. And the wife turns to Henry and is like, Henry, who's George with? And George is like, oh, that's his mistress. And the wife goes, our mistress is cuter. That's a good joke, Steve.
Morty. There's not a lot of good Jewish comedians, Prez. There's a short list of those.
Yeah, sure. About 700. I love that joke. And it's so true of the older Jewish people. But I told my parents that joke last night, and they told me that joke is about 100 years old. That Motty did not come up with it. So I just wanted to put a smile on your face because I love you. Thanks for being here, my brother. Anything else?
You always, Prez, every time I see you, it puts a smile on my face. So you're good, even pre-joke. Although the look on the April Fool's look on your face really put a smile on my face. So that was worth a couple weeks worth right there. Good stuff.
Well, dude, you're literally in the top 3 sellers at WagerTalk. You know this to be true. You know it. I know it. You are in the top 3 sellers at WagerTalk. I am one of the owners of WagerTalk. We give you a percentage of your sales, meaning we keep a percentage of your sales. If you leave, you will cost me money. I don't want that. I love money. So yeah, I went cold all over. I saw money coming out of my bank account. Now I'm kidding, dude. We just love having you on, and I love doing these shows with you. You're so good at this. Everybody loves Steve Merrill. Thanks for doing this, brother. Okay, thanks, guys. Prez. It's $5 Tuesday, as we discussed. So yesterday I came in on an 11-1 all sports run. An 11-1 all sports run. One of our listeners said, fade Prez. Well, he would have lost. I won again last night. 2-1 for my clients. I won my NHL play again, ho-hum. I pushed on 3 with Washington State. I lost my baseball game by 1 run, but I did win my NBA and I did win my NHL. I'm now on a 7-0 NHL run. I'm on a 13-2 all sports run. I have a $5 play up tonight, and it is a 4% play. Those plays are very, very rare for me. In the last 12 months, I'm over 62% in these 4% plays. Guys, it's $5. Head over to WagerTalk. Check me out. My NHL #1 most profitable handicapper in NHL this year and on a 7-0 run. So check out my $5 play, please. Thank you very much. Andy Lang joining us. My brother from another mother. How are you, bro?
I have food poisoning this morning, and that is not an April Fool's Day joke. So we're going to make this segment pretty quick.
Well, then with that said, what do you think of my new hat? Not off topic at all.
It looks great. Beautiful. Oh, upgrade. I like it. Love it.
Okay, Andy.
I actually like it because I think the green screen filter's on so we can see through your head.
Yeah.
Hat on there.
Anyway, I don't think people loved my joke. I thought my joke was pretty good. Mario Delario. That can't be. That's a killer. Whoa, the rhyming. Andy, I know you got food poisoning. We got shut up, Prez. Get Andy in and out. He needs to go to bed. I'm sorry about your food poisoning. I've been there once. And when I had food poisoning, there was no chance in hell I would have been able to do this show. So kudos to you, my brother. NBA, you got a prop bet for us. Same within Live Golf, same within Formula One. Why don't I shut up and you just roll through the segment?
Yeah, let's jump to the NBA and we'll take a Congo over. He just needs to make 1 3-pointer tonight. This has been a prop that's just been crushing recently. Over 9 out of the last 10 games. He's getting just over 3 attempts per game in those 10 games, but he's shooting 50% from 3. So if I get a guy that's making 50% of his shots, and he's taking 3 per game, I think he can get at least 1 He plays Portland, who's 23rd in defending threes to centers. If you watch them play, their closeouts are pretty bad. So Congo just to make 1 3-pointer tonight. It's a little nerve-wracking because this isn't a guy that shoots 6 or 7 a game. You're probably going to get 3, maybe 4 attempts, but maybe we get that first one to go in the first quarter, and it's easy peasy first quarter cash. We go to Live Golf. They're in Miami this week. Joaquin Niemann, top 10 at minus 135. This guy's won 2 out of the last 3 Live events. He finished 9th at Miami last year. And remember, the Masters is next week. These guys on the Live Tour do not want to come into the Masters flat. So look for guys like John Rahm and Joaquin Niemann to really try to be looking good and to come in, on good form. They've really run into problems going into the majors because the Live Golf, the courses, Prez, are pretty easy. Then all of a sudden they're playing at Augusta. So I expect Neiman and Rahm to be near the top. Both these guys were top 10 last year. And then we'll go to Formula One, the Japanese Grand Prix. We're just going right back to it. McLaren double podium. I was talking to Corbin, and Corbin brought up a great point on this. Next year in Formula One, they are introducing all new cars. The teams are putting all their resources into next year's cars. George Russell just came out and said it. He's like, yeah, all of our resources are going into next year's cars, not this year. McLaren is going to coast to a championship. I don't think any of these teams are going to be spending much money this year to improve their cars this year. I think they realize that this is a McLaren year. So we're still getting minus 140 on them to finish on the double podium. Yeah, absolutely. I'll take that. I think they steamroll the field this year. Even Aston Martin, they brought a newie from Red Bull. That's for next year, Prez. Their cars are trash this year. So we're just you're seeing a lot of teams go, you know what? We're passing on this year. Let's move to next year. So let's keep riding McLaren double podium.
Yeah, I love that bet. Andy Lang joining us. Andy, again, man, sick as a dog. Dan told you to not come on. You're like, nope, I got to do it. The fans need Andy. It's $5 Tuesday. What do you have going for the clients?
$5 NBA play that is up. We're on a 42-18 run in the NBA. We just closed out March plus 10.8 units in profit. So it started off March really, really good, gave some units back, but we like measuring ourselves on months. That's 14 out of the last 17 months that we turned a profit. All 3 months in 2025, we're up. So if you're interested in long-term package, we still have that 30% off 3 months, but if you're just interested in today, you can look at the $5 Tuesday play, wt.buzz/AL.
There we go. Andy Lang, everyone. We still have Paul Motty joining us to talk cricket. We also have Gianni The Greek joining us. If we have time, we'll talk some NHL. But guys, I'm doing a new show now. It's actually up right this very second. It just got loaded on WagerTalk TV. It's called The Blue Line. Myself and Matthew Barnaby. And I take apart with Matthew. The two of us take apart every single game on the board. So there are 10 NHL games tonight. We go through all 10, and we're going to be doing this every single day. We also had Carmine Bianco come on and give out some prop bets on that show. And Mike Commodore joined us to give us 2 bets that he's going to be making tonight. Matthew Barnaby played in the NHL for 14 years, Mike Commodore for 18 years, Lawrence Presman for 0 years, Carmine Bianco for -3 years. A ton of incredible information on that show. Please make sure to check it out. Also, this is our last day for the baseball $49 special. Our last day. So make sure to take advantage of that. It is $49 for 7 days of all a handicapper's baseball plays. So if you buy Gianni, you get every baseball play he has for 7 days. Same with me, Andy, Steve Merrill, Tokyo Brandon, etc., etc. Last day for this promo, $49 for 7 days. That is something you definitely want to take advantage of. Oh my God. Gianni is aggressive in the Slack chat, Dan. What's up with that? I can't read that off. We must have missed something. I'm looking forward to the Gianni segment so I can address this capital F-U blah, 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 blah in the Slack channel. Oh, okay. But before that, we got Paul Motty joining us. We're going to talk some cricket. How are you, my friend? How's it been going?
I'm okay, Prez. It's been a hard week, if I'm honest with you. There's been some quite shocking stuff going on in the IPL. We've got really used to big overs in the last year or so as the game's changed. But it's all been going wrong for teams the last few days. I think they're getting a bit too ambitious early on. So it's been a bad little run. But today looks pretty good. Punjab looked like delivering. So at least 2 out of 3 bets should win, hopefully 3 out of 3. But I think we need to talk about where the tournament's going from here, because this is, I think, the most wide open one we've ever seen. You know, I think that's one thing. A week ago, I'd have said it was quite a gulf between the top and the bottom. But the 2 favourites now are going to be 2 sides who've never won it before: Royal Challengers Bangalore and Punjab Kings. Of the 2, I much prefer Punjab Kings. Sunrisers, who are my pick, have had 2 bad results this week, but I think we've got to keep the faith. They've got a strategy. They go hell for leather from the outset. Gone wrong 2 games in a row, but it's a system that's served them well for a year. And they're back in action on Thursday against Kolkata. I think we've got to look at big runs in that game, big sixes in that game. And Royal Challengers Bangalore are up tomorrow, trying to maintain their 100% run against Gujarat. That's where I've got my $5 pick is in that game. I've got a player performance that over the last 2.5 seasons, this player yields 27% profit at the odds available, for the line available.
Right.
So that's up to mid. We've also got, if you're interested, sorry.
Yeah, snooker. Sorry. There's a slight delay. I didn't know when you were finished. I love that sweatshirt though, Paul. Beautiful styling today. So yeah, snooker. The world champ qualifiers start next week, and this is a sport that a lot of North Americans do not bet. I don't know if you know this, but I played 9-ball against the Black Widow. Totally off topic. I didn't actually play 9-ball against the Black Widow. She broke, ran the table. I shook her hand and went to the bar and had a drink. That literally was my experience playing 9-ball against the Black Widow. So we have snooker starting next week. What are the betting opportunities in the sport?
Okay, so just to say, we're starting off. This is the biggest tournament of the year, the World Championship. It's a 4-week event. Now, to win a tournament is a huge market. That's my personal favourite. That's the one where I've got great pedigree over a long period of time, because I think you can get really good angles working out the draw. But also, it's a match-by-match thing. You know, you can bet there's 128 players going to the qualifiers and there's 16 already into the final stages. So you've got match bets galore every day. I think, personally, that I tend to be, rather than pick the winner of a match, I tend to be more bet the handicap or even bet the frame score. Because actually the frame score betting is often, I think it's a little bit too open. It's not that open. It's not that hard to predict a core of, 3 or 4 scores that are very close to one another, that kind of thing. That's probably going to be my major angle. Also, you've got things like who will score the highest break, what will the highest break be, that might appeal with particular players. But what I wanted to talk about today is I think that this is now is a really good opportunity to get ahead of this, because in the outright market, if we look at the outright market with FanDuel right now, favourite is Judd Trump at plus 380, and Kyron Wilson, defending champion, is plus 750. And in between them, you've got Ronnie O'Sullivan, the legend that is Ronnie O'Sullivan. Now, Ronnie O'Sullivan is far from certain to play. He hasn't played any event this year. Withdrew from the Masters, withdrew from the Welsh Open, isn't in a good place, wasn't in great form anyway.
Right.
Never write a legend off, but it's hard to see him really winning this tournament. He's not alone. There's a lot of other ageing players who really seem to be a little bit off pace nowadays. And Trump and Wilson, they've won 7 tournaments between them this season. They've met in 3 finals. Wilson won them all. And I think that they can't meet until the final either. They're drawn in the other. They'll be drawn in the other half each other. I think if you get those two prices now, plus 380 for Trump, plus 750 for Wilson, you're going to be sitting on a very good position in a couple of weeks, in 2 to 3 weeks when we're through the last stages.
Brilliant stuff. Paul, you're going to be selling snooker picks to our clients on WagerTalk?
We are. I've got a year pass for $599. So that's every tournament, every bet. I'm starting it next week for the World Championship. I've been waiting on that. There's a tournament going on now, but I'm not putting any picks up until next week.
Brilliant
but
stuff.
That's just not. I'll also write a preview for the site for free and put a few freebies up and an explainer.
Paul Motty, everyone, outstanding. I absolutely love these periphery sports, Paul. I mean, there's just so much betting opportunity in sports like cricket and snooker, and even the Canadian election. What are the odds currently in the Canadian election, and are you still interested in betting Carney?
Well, yeah, I think it's going Carney's way. I think that the polls are consistently showing about 4% lead. So I'm making the odds to bet online. We're now 190 Carney, 150 Poilievre. To be honest, we've taken more money for the outsider for Poilievre. We've also got money on total seats for the parties and over-unders for Bloc Québécois and for the NDP. Personally, yep. I think that they will probably narrowly get a majority, the Liberals, and if not, they'll be able to rely on the NDP to make Carney Prime Minister.
Outstanding stuff, guys. Paul Motty has a $5 play up. Paul, you mentioned it already. It is in cricket. When does it go?
This is tomorrow at 7 a.m. Gujarat Titans versus RCB. It's a player performance, 27% profit this guy's yielded over the last 2.5 seasons on that line.
Perfect, guys. You can grab that over at WagerTalk. It is $5. Boom! Done! One more segment with Gianni the Greek to come. Paul Motty, everyone. Steve Merrill, Carmine Bianco, Andy Lang. What a show. Quick reminder, last date with a $49 special. I also have my own special up as I am making a ton of money for my clients. Only $77. Only $77 for 7 days all access. Guys, it's unlikely we're going to have Gianni. So what happened was somebody came into the Slack channel and just went ballistic under the name Gianni. And I was like, Dan, what's going on? Gianni seems to be pretty pissed off. As it turns out, I think Gianni has been hacked today. So totally understand that he might not come on. What I'm going to do is give out my second favorite NHL play of the day. And if we don't have Gianni by then, we will call it a show. My second favorite play is Winnipeg. They're playing the LA Kings tonight, and I really like the under in this game, guys. Like, I like it a lot. I mean, it's under 5.5, juiced to -140, which means there are fives out there all over the place, and I understand that. Even at 5, I think this game is 2-1 with an empty netter, at most 3-1. You look at this and you say, okay, Winnipeg 32, 39, and 3 to the under this year. So they are playing to the under, but most of those are 5.5. The LA Kings 28, 42, and 3 to the under. This is one of the biggest under teams in the entire league in the LA Kings, and it makes total sense. This LA Kings team put up 8 against San Jose. Before that, they scored 1 goal in their last 2 games. This is not a team that is scoring a ton. They've scored 1 or less 4 of their last 9 games. But conversely, defensively, this team is killing it. I grant you Toronto put up 3. One of them was an empty netter. Colorado put up 4. Other than that, it's 1 or 2 goals in almost every game. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 out of their last 10 games. 7 out of their last 10 games. They let 2 or less goals in. This team is playing so good defensively. They are tight checking. They have a ton of back checking speed. And they also don't have the guns to put up a ton of goals. When you look at Winnipeg, they have the best goaltender in the league, period. They still need to win hockey games. They held Vancouver to 1. They held New Jersey to 0. They held Washington to 2. That's 3 goals in their last 3 games. I don't see who's scoring in this game. I think we're going to see even head-to-head, 2-1 in their last meeting, 4-1 in the meeting before that. 4 and 6 to the under in their last 10. Every statistic says under the total in this game, and that's my second favorite NHL play. My first favorite NHL play is a 4% play. You guys can buy that over at WagerTalk for only $5. What a great show. Super fun. Sorry about Gianni, but I do, Dan, do we have a Blackjack class going later today? Do you know when's the next Blackjack?
I do believe he has one going.
It is.
And
yeah.
Let me show you this. This is kind of what was going on in the class when he was running it. So you guys can check this out. This is what he.
And there's 2 cards left. Okay. What could we deduce that these 2 cards are without looking at them? Remember, at the end of the deck, we got to get to 0. So this could only be 2 things. One of these have to be +1 and -1, or both have to be neutral, right? Because we're at 0 right now. So the only things these could possibly be is a high card and a low card, because that'll get us back to 0, or 2 cards that are a 7, 8, or 9, right? Let's flip the 1 over.
So that's basically what you're kind of going to be getting with that stuff, Prez. So pretty good stuff there from Ace. But unfortunately, we didn't get to talk to him. So maybe we'll get to chat with him tomorrow. We'll see. It depends. I mean, if the hackers really got him, that was crazy. Very un-Gianni-like.
Me and you were like, what the hell's going on? Anyway, I do want to make mention there is a Master Advantage Blackjack class going tonight at 7:30 p.m. You can register at wt.buzz/blackjack3. That's wt.buzz/blackjack3. And guys, really quickly, people who are taking Gianni's Blackjack class, if you're in Vegas, Gianni will actually come with you to the table and give you coaching. He already did that for one of our listeners. So that's super cool. Nathan got a chance to meet and play with Gianni. That's awesome. What a nice guy Gianni is. Anyway, that's the show. Guys, tomorrow we're going to talk a lot of golf. Valera Open starts on Thursday. We're going to have both Sean Alvarez and Nick Borman on together. Plus, we're going to obviously talk NBA and college basketball and NHL as well. I'm Lawrence Presman. That's the show. Thanks, everybody, for watching, and we will see you tomorrow.